Ladies and gentlemen, angry Americans worldwide, we have an incredible guest today. Absolutely incredible. One of the people I have been most looking forward to talking to since I created a show, before I even had a show. The great and powerful Aaron Mankin is in the Classic Car Club, New York. Welcome, my friend.
Loving it. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me out here. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, what do you think of this place?
Oh, phenomenal. Top shelf. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Yeah.
Top shelf.
Yeah.
Now, I said you're the great Aaron Mankin. You're also the good Aaron Mankin. Really, I mean it. You're a good person. And every time I'm around you, I feel happier. I think anyone listening to this discussion today is going to feel happier. How do you do that, man? How do you do that? Is it just natural? Were you born that way? Like, I got to ask you. I know I'm kicking it off with a tough one. But
no, I think anyone who's survived adversity, has been through something, has a unique perspective on not just their life, but life in general, right? And which direction you go, and understanding that it is what you make it, and the power you have to make one choice over another. And that's where my recovery really started, was, not letting some guy who picked up a shovel and buried a bomb and tried to take my life dictate who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. That's a choice I get to make. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, a choice you also get to make on Angry Americans is what cocktail you prefer. And so tell folks what you've chosen and why.
Well, what we have on the menu here is some Blanton's. All right, Blanton's is just beautiful on the rocks, straight up. You don't want to mess. You got to enjoy all the layers, right? We, I was just turned on to it about 2 years ago. I had some family bring a bottle, super rare, hard to find, get nowhere, and we polished it off and just had a great time. So
you know a little bit about the brown liquor. I mean, you actually said your drink of choice is Crown. You tell folks.
We call it VCR, Vanilla Crown Royal, and Sprite. And it's not. It's you would never put those two together. I'll tell you, it's magical. It's dangerous, is what it is. It's magical, but yeah. Of course, Marines know a little bit about drinking, and we were founded in a bar, so it's kind of our thing, part of that culture. But when it becomes, or it's in certain places or times, it's patriotic to buy me a beer or get me a drink, then embrace that.
I don't know if there's anyone who's been given more free drinks in the world, maybe, than Aaron Mankin. I think it's a testament to your fortitude that you're not a complete alcoholic. I mean, I honest to God, like everywhere, have you paid for a drink in 10 years? I mean, maybe you've insisted on paying for it yourself.
I try and pass it on. I get people, they'll want to pick up a check or buy my meal or, hell, when I was at the burn unit, I'd have Americans come up and say, I just had a gastric bypass. I got all this extra skin. Could you use it? Can I give you the skin off my back?
Literally.
Yeah. Just whatever they could do and give. And it's been incredible to see great Americans just step up and do whatever they can.
So I want to get to your story, which I think is now the stuff of legend, but you handed me your business card, which is pretty fucking cool. It says Aaron P. Mankin, and on top it says APM, which is kind of like, it looks like BIG, AOC, like you got the 3 letters in a very strong way with 4 stars. You're a corporal, but you promoted yourself to 4 stars, so I appreciate that. And it says Advocate, Patriot, Marine. And I think that really embodies who you are. And then on the back, it's got the longer explanation. United States Marine Corps Combat Correspondent, Purple Heart recipient, Congressional Military and Veteran Liaison, UCLA Operation Men Board of Advisors, Sheepdog Impact Assistance Board of Advisors, Keynote, and then maybe what I want to pivot off of, your email that I think you've had for as long as I've known you, which is scars are not forever at something. I'm not going to tell them exactly your email, but it's been scars are not forever for as long as I've known you. Can you talk about that last part and why you picked that and why it's kind of one of your mantras?
That was something I embraced very early on in my recovery back in 2005. Waking up, my face was gone. I got my face blown off and didn't look like me and had to deal with a lot. And I'd even, take my arm, I'd raise my arm up, cover my face. Now I could see where my eyes And, I had my Wiley X's on, I had my goggles on, so my eyes weren't wounded. And I still kind of looked like myself, or I could see myself again. And had to remind myself that these scars are not forever. And the faith that I had that I would get better. And it's become so much more than that when I meet people and I share my story or don't. I just meet someone for the first time and they kind of begin to look past that. They may see the scars at first, but it's not all they see. There's more to it than that. And so even if, in a brief moment in time, we get a chance to connect and share stories, the scars may be what engages us or what gets a conversation started, but it's so much more. It's beyond that. So, it may be where we start, but it's not where we end. We move on. So
I love that. And this is kind of the interesting part about podcasting, because folks are usually watching you on TV and they see your face and they see your wounds, right? And they see your scars. Right. But on podcast, you can't see them. Now, we're going to have a video online at angryAmericans.us, and you can see me and Aaron running around here drinking brown liquor and driving fancy cars. But I think your voice has become so strong over the years, man. And you and I first met. I want to tell this story. You remember where we first met?
I know exactly where we were.
Maybe
right up the street.
Yeah, because you texted me on the way over here to the car club. You said it kind of feels like the first day we met, and it's not far from where we met. And you want to tell a story, or you want me?
We were both working some media. No Veterans Day week. We were on the flight deck at the Intrepid doing, I think, Heidi Collins' show or CNN, and it was freezing.
It was fucking cold as hell. So
cold. Because, of course, we're out over the water, so there's no... and we were just huddled up underneath the stairwell trying to find some cover from the relentless breeze.
It's an old World War II aircraft carrier that we've done a lot of events on together. And they had set up CNN on the flight deck. And then Veterans Day is November 11th. Sometimes rarely it's beautiful and sunny. Often it's cold and shitty. And this was especially cold. This was like frigid, wind going. Brutal. And I don't think we had actually been introduced, but we were in this tiny metal stairwell. Yeah. Right? It feels like a submarine. Right. Just two dudes shoved into this little stairwell, just shaking, trying to get warm. Right? It's like, hey, what's your name? How you doing, buddy? Want to keep me from dying of frostbite?
Yeah, because we both had the same idea. Like, hey, let's tuck in here while we're standing around and finding out, hearing your story and connecting with you, and it's just been, man.
You've risen to become an incredible voice for a lot of people beyond the veterans community. You've transcended it, and I want to talk about your journey and the future, because I think too often people want to hear what happened to you, and they don't want to hear enough about what you think. And I want to hear today about what you think and what you see, because this show is about the precarious state of our American experiment. And it's about people who have shaped the past, the present, and the future. And it's about Americans who are what I call iconic, important, and inspiring. And you were all those things. And I think that this is going to be one of those interviews for people who have never heard of Aaron Mankin before. They're going to look back on this interview and remember this was the time they heard Aaron Mankin. Because you're now starting to go beyond the veterans community. And I hope this show can be a part of that. But you're our first person from Arkansas.
Hey, there you go.
On this show.
Now you're legit, right?
Now I said person from Arkansas because I asked you on the way in. I want you to explain it. Is it Arkansan? How do you refer to someone from Arkansas proper?
There's debate within the state on, you've got some people that consider themselves Arkansans. Some people say, Kansas, I don't like that. Call me Kansas nothing, right? I'm an Arkansasier, right? And so it goes back and forth. But I go either way.
What are you teaching the kids? You got two kids. They're now getting big. What do you teach them? Are they Arkansans?
I think it just depends on who you're talking to. It goes either way. Yeah.
So go back to maybe tell people what was it like where you grew up, and why did you join the Marine Corps? Oh, okay. And then you've told this story a million times, but tell it to folks in the way you think they should know it.
There I was, right?
Let's start with where you grew up.
Right. grew up in beautiful Northwest Arkansas, city called Rogers. And in Rogers, we're home of Walmart store number 1. It's where Sam Walton got his start. Real big in the community there, home office and all that. Just a beautiful part of the state. You like being outdoors and up in the Ozarks there. It's gorgeous. So growing up, did well in school, was always a decent student, enjoyed debate and competitive speech in school, and meeting future press secretaries, debating.
You did?
Huckabee was from Arkansas. So she lost to
Sara Huckabee.
Yeah.
So you met her when you were growing up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we debated in the same, competitions, right?
Wow. Did you ever debate against Sara Huckabee?
Oh, yeah.
How'd you do?
We beat her pretty good.
I bet you did.
I see her up there still choking on her words like she used to. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Okay, please continue.
Was successful at that, enjoyed doing that, and thought after I got out of high school, went to college for a few years. 9/11 happens. The world changes. I feel like this is going to be my generation's war. I need to do something, right? This is 2003 when I enlisted. And so we were being sold a war that was righteous. That was, those of us that believed in, exporting democracy, that's something we can get behind. Let's take this to the world and everything else with that. But I thought, what can I do if I'm going to be in the military? What can I do that I do well? Because I wanted to bring, something to the table. I didn't want to just be another pair of boots in the sand. I wanted to contribute or use my skills in a way, give that to my country. And decided to be a combat correspondent. So joined the Marine Corps 2003 and did my training. And was forward deployed to Fallujah in 2005. Telling stories, trying to make Marines look good, getting the news back home about what we were involved in, telling stories about, getting Girl Scout cookies. When Pope John Paul II died, having a service there in Fallujah, Marines response to what else is going on in the world. And then, of course, the kinetic side of things, combat operations, hard knocks, and was Operation Matador. In early May in 2005, and with a group of Marines from Lucky Lima Company, 325, and we did some house operations up near the Syrian border, and we were at the time on the heels of Al Zarqawi, who would later become Father ISIS, and so we were rushing through there, and sure enough, I was done. I got all my evidence. I got everything I needed to come back and tell the story. I thought, with what little time I have left, I'm going to go catch a bird. I'm out of here. With what little time, I'll get some more B-roll, right? So I slide in another tape, right? 2005, right? Throw another tape in, start filming, just our movement, just, over the terrain, all our vehicles, and boom. Rolled over an IED, threw a 26-ton vehicle 10 feet in the air. The guys behind us said they could see the track in front of us. I was
from underneath, meaning it was so high in the air you could see underneath the 26-ton vehicle.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And boom. I was standing up in the vehicle. I was exposed from the chest up, so I caught some of the initial blast, but I was so far toward the back of the vehicle that I just got thrown back inside. It was like somebody upended their barbecue and just threw hot coals on me, and it was all raining down, and I see flashes of orange. And then, of course, the panic sits and everything. I just gasped, I got to get out. Finally, one of our sergeants had muscled open a little hatch there in the sunlight, trickled in. I got my target, and I just dove out, and hit the deck, rolled around. For a while, my sleeves had caught fire. My face was on fire, and I roll, and thought, check, stop, no, it's still on fire, roll. And I had exhausted myself trying to extinguish myself. And I laid there and thought, this is it. And, they say your whole life flashes before your eyes. For me, ironically enough, being a photographer, I just saw these pictures, these images, these iconic images in my life of my family and friends, people worth fighting for, worth dying for. And as this peace came over me, I woke up to the sound of my fellow Marines yelling, put him out, put him out. And they run over, and they're diving on me, right? And they put the flames out, and I kind of snapped to. I kind of stand up. I wasn't wounded from the waist down. And I thought, I'm okay, right? Shock's in. I had no pain. I got to get back to my gear. I got to go get my mission, go tell this story. And on my way back to this inferno that I just narrowly escaped, Doc grabs me by the collar. Corman grabs me and says, you're hurt. You need to come with me. And that lesson right there teaches me a lot. I share that with people. And sometimes you don't know how hurt you are in the moment. And it takes someone else to come up and say, hey, I got you. Come with me. I'm going to take care of you. And I've witnessed that over and over in my experience and in this space since then, going on, 14 years now. So, it's been so second and third degree burns from fingertips to shoulder blades. All right, my flak jacket saved my core. And then my face, my nose was burned, my ears were burned, scar contractures around my mouth were so tight. My mom had to feed me out of a funnel for weeks, just to get food in me. And it's been, nearly 70 surgeries altogether. So
70, sir. And I've seen you kind of every couple of months since then. And your face has literally been reconstructed, right? And
it's beautiful.
It is. I mean, I would tell you, brother, because I love you. I mean, I think it's more beautiful than any other face I've ever seen, because
you need to zoom in on this. Is there a zoom?
But also, this is no shit, because the work that went into it. I mean, like, the amount of pain you've had to endure to have a face, right, is unimaginable. Just for a moment of levity, tell folks the story of when you and I were at the Playboy Mansion. So we were.
That one time,
we're going to take an off ramp.
There I was at the Playboy Mansion.
We've been on some weird experiences together.
It's crazy.
You've had a much more Forrest Gump kind of experience over the last 10 years than I have. But occasionally they've intersected. And at one point we ended up at a fundraiser at Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion in Los Angeles. And you are a funny motherfucker. Like, and I think it's important. I've known a lot of folks who've been pretty severely wounded. And what I've found is that, what it can do is magnify what's inside of you.
That's true. And you learn that in the burn unit. If you were an asshole before, you're going to be a burnt asshole. It's not going to make you a better person.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And if you were charismatic and you were funny, it's magnified and it's intensified and it's in some ways kind of calcified. But tell the Playboy Mansion story.
So there I was at the Playboy Mansion, right? We were with the Thalians, their 55th fundraiser, and that year they were honoring Hef as Mr. Wonderful, and got a lot of just a lot of Hollywood in the tent outside, right outside the mansion. Huge party with Slash on guitar, Sugar Ray I think was there. Who else? Comedians, and it was just it was a party. It was crazy. And that evening they were benefiting Operation Mend, and you want to talk about gold standard, you want to talk about excellence, you want to talk about doing it right, or saying thanks, right? I'll talk more about that later. But Operation Mend, is a group at UCLA Medical Center. It does facial reconstructions, does a lot of heavy lifting for the guys and gals who come back. That you think about losing an arm or losing a leg. You never think about losing your face or giving your face for your country. And Operation Mend stepped up and filled a void that was needed. And so Italians are going to do this big fundraiser for Operation Mend. So they show the video. It's powerful. powerful. You hear from these warriors that, had given up so much, and even on themselves in a lot of ways, or finally accepted the way that they looked. And, I'm okay with that. So anything on that's just better. And you see the light come back in their eyes. You look at the pictures online, the Operation Mend website, and it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
So they show the video, and the room's kind of heavy, and I jump up. I'm in my dress blues, right? Metal's dangling, looking good. They hand me a mic, and I want to say thank you to them. Let them know what you're doing here matters. Thank you for your support. And at the end, I turned to Hef, sitting right up front, right there. And I thanked Hef. I said, Hef, I just want to thank you for letting a couple Marines come and have their way at your place, and have their way at the bar. We're having a really good time, and I'm just surprised at how comfortable I am here, being surrounded by so many people who have had as much plastic surgery as I have. And the place lost it. Standing ovation. Yay, yay. I didn't know what to do. I was, thank you and good night. Mic drop.
That was it.
I left, yeah.
A front row filled with Playboy playmates of all generations, some who were decades past when they were playmates, and it was Hollywood. I mean, there was more plastic surgery in one room between Operation Mend and Playboy Playmates than maybe any other location in American history. Right?
Crazy.
It was crazy.
Well, I can't say that ever. I don't know when I'll ever get to use that line again. I gotta say it.
That's why I wanted you to tell that story, man. And the first time I went to Operation Mend, I went on a tour, and it's this incredible project at UCLA Medical, which is one of the most innovative medical centers in the world. It was led by a Vietnam veteran and founded by the Katzes, Ron Katz, the great philanthropist and patriot. And on a very basic level, they had been doing plastic surgeries. They had been doing boob jobs and facelifts. And I heard, Dr. Miller, right? Dr. Miller?
Yeah.
Tell the story. He was a Vietnam veteran.
Right.
And he had been
Bronze Star recipient.
And he had been doing boob jobs and facelifts. And the war was happening, and guys like you didn't have a face. And he said, boy, I have a skill set, and I can apply it to these men and women coming home.
Well,
and
we came home with that need.
Yeah,
and,
because the Army didn't finish the job, right? They would explain this. They would get you good enough to live, but not good enough to be able to open your mouth wide enough to eat a hamburger.
Functionality.
Right? Or to be able to, Octavio Sanchez, one of our friends and dear colleagues, an incredible human being. He said he just wanted to be able to pick his kids up at soccer and not have the other kids make fun of his dad.
Yeah.
Right? Like things that I think other people take for being able to close your eyelids. Right? Like so many different things that I think people take for granted. But the innovation is what blew my mind. And when I was there, they were doing hand transplants, right? Which are now
like Frankenstein,
right?
Yeah,
legitimate.
Cody Azari out there is a magician.
Dr. Azari is I hope will join us at some point on the show, and they were doing penis implants. They were doing penile reconstruction, which was important because people don't understand how many people got blown up below the waist. And I was reading, I think it was just a few weeks ago, at Johns Hopkins, they completed the first successful penis transplant.
Penile transplant,
yeah, right? Penile transplant.
Yeah, and that's
it is truly sci-fi. I watched them take skin from an arm and the veins from an arm and reconstruct and fashion a penis, and they had been doing trans ops as well, right? For people going through trans surgery. And just to see this connection and this rallying, and every time you guys came to UCLA, you'd kind of go out in LA. Melanie Gideon, who was one of the most incredible patriots we've ever seen, she ran Operation Mend for a long time. She was the boots on the ground. She would pick every one of you up, and you would go through this weird situation where you go to a surgery, right? You come out of Arkansas, and then you sit courtside at a Lakers game with Jack Nicholson. Right?
Yeah, crazy.
So what was that like, man, to go through those worlds? And on some levels, man, to be defined, to have so much of your life defined by that moment and that injury. And to, frankly, don't you get sick of telling the story?
No, I don't. Because it's, that's.
I know it's painful. I know every time you tell it on some levels, it's painful. And you're giving, I want to thank you for sharing the story. because Bob Carey told me every time a Medal of Honor recipient tells a story, it hurts. And you're pulling it out of you and sharing it. So I want to thank you for that, but also give you a chance to explain what you think about that question.
Thank you. Well, Operation Men was birthed out of this need for facial reconstructions, because the system that we were placed in at Brooke Army Medical Center was just not equipped to handle what we needed. Right? They had surgeons, but these surgeons weren't board certified plastic surgeons. So Operation Men stepped up and found the need, and filled the need. And
but you don't get tired of telling that story.
That story, because there's so many elements
to that
story
hurt,
of the event, of the incident. No, for one, I was a trained storyteller. I was there to tell a story. I didn't want to be the story. I became the story. So what do you do with that? I'm going to keep telling my story. And I know I've seen it. I've seen the benefits of just sharing with someone, or just being real, just saying, I struggle, I hurt too, right? Or they see my scars, they're already to that point. They want to know, they want to know more about it. They want to engage. So there's a chance to educate there, right? And I embraced that. I was a substitute teacher before I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and I always thought I'd use the Corps, to get back into the classroom. And here I've been given a story, I've been given a platform, I've been given opportunities to continue to share that story and educate other people about not just our experiences, but in sharing those stories and giving other people then they want to reciprocate. They feel like, okay, it's okay to tell my story. And yes, it hurts every time I tell it, right? We gave 6 Marines that day, some fathers, all sons. And I'll never forget them, right? They're with me always. And in sharing that, they're always alive. And that's how, a lot of time around this time of year, people want to say thank you. They want to do something. They want to find out, how do you do that? How do you do that? You're asking yourself, how do you say that? How do you do a sacrifice so sacred? How do you live? How do you say thank you to that? And the answer is simple. You live a life worthy of such a sacrifice, and to embody those beliefs, those core values that we all have as Americans, right? And coalesce and come together, and there's healing in sharing, right? And knowing you're not alone, right? And I didn't do anything by myself. Right, especially not in the Marine Corps. I didn't go anywhere, do anything on my own, right? And so to come home and almost be expected to, all right, you got this, right? Not me personally, but others, right? Good luck out there. It's just the opposite of who we are.
I think anyone listening to this conversation is now going to understand why, if you decide to run for office, yes, that I may have to shut down this podcast, and a lot of folks may have to leave their jobs and go down to Arkansas or wherever you go.
I don't want that.
No, I really mean it, man, because you've been a rising star for so many years, and I think there's this wave, a small number. You're very unique, but a small number of especially veterans, but not only veterans, who've been through some really tough shit and have come out on the other side and have not gone into politics. Right, like you very easily could have run for office. You could have, gone into Congress. That's almost an easy route. And I hope that people will continue to try to recruit you for more leadership positions. But you've done a different kind of work in that it's just been a grind, man. You're on so many planes and in so many classrooms and on so many local TV shows. I mean, I've done a lot of interviews, man. But do you have any idea how many you've done? Over the last decade?
No count on it.
And our friend Willie Geist was the first ever guest on this show. And he's been a tremendous advocate for Operation Men.
I was with Willie last night. He came out to celebrate with us and continue to support Operation Men. He's on our board of advisors there. And he and his wife, Christina, and their kids are they're beautiful people.
They're great human beings.
Yeah.
We earlier said that maybe Willie could run on a ticket with Wes Moore, but he might maybe run on a ticket with you. And then you lock up the South too, which should be, Sara Huckabee be shaking in her shoes if you ran. So going back to Arkansas. I want to ask you a question. I asked Willie a question. I ask everyone. Aaron Mankin, when you were growing up in the Ozarks, Aaron Mankin, what was your first car?
Oh God, my first car was a sky blue '91 Dodge Spirit.
Really?
Yeah, magical.
Magical.
Good times. Good times.
Where did you get it? Do you remember where you got it?
I did from a neighbor down the street. A good deal. I think $1,800 for a first car, and drove it till the wheels fall off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you drive it to? Well, you can't take a car to Marine Corps boot camp, can you?
Oh no. I was in a Jeep by then, but
Jeep.
yeah, my Grand Cherokees. I've been in a Jeep ever since.
Really?
Yeah.
Excellent. What color was the interior of your first car?
Well, that's sky blue on the outside, and then kind of a darker blue on the inside.
It's kind of smooth.
I wouldn't say that. The
magical is how you say it.
Right, the wheel covers, they didn't match. The paint was flaking off in other places.
Yep.
But man, the guy behind the wheel had it going on.
Yeah, he still does. He still does. So you've been through this, mind-bogglingly difficult journey, and I want to ask you, some questions that folks can't see, because I see it. What people can't see is your hand has been injured, and what they can hear is your lungs and your throat have been injured. So can you talk about that, and to whatever extent you're comfortable, where are you in this recovery? You'll be, or maybe you call it something different, but this journey that will never end, right? Will be probably for your whole life, but 70 surgeries.
Yeah.
And I'd see you sometimes like the couple days afterward.
Rough.
Right. And it was not like little surgeries. It was they were putting a nose on you.
Well, those are surgeries.
Right?
70 surgeries where I'd lay on the table. But there's hundreds of procedures in that, right? Because my philosophy was, if you're going to knock me out, I'm going to be down, then do everything. Right? Let's do it all. Yeah. Right? While you're there. Yeah. But my hands, scarred throughout. I had extremely limited range of motion in my left hand, which has now become my dominant hand. Because on my right hand, my thumb and index finger have been amputated. My middle and ring finger are affixed in a straight position. And then my pinky has a boutonniere scar contracture that kind of tucks it up a little bit. So, but I can fit it in my pocket. It's a little hypersensitive at times, but I've got plans to get back to Operation Mid and work with some hand surgeons to see if we can improve that. And that's that striving for, what do you need? What can we do for you now?
And you have a way of holding the mic that, like, you've held the mic enough that you know how to hold the mic in that, your dominant hand is facing me. Your less dominant hand has the mic ratcheted between your fingers in a way that's really effective.
Right. Well, I'm right-handed. Yeah. Right? I had to learn how to not just do everything all over again. Right, walk, dress myself, take care of it, but then to learn to be left-handed on top of it. That was just the new normal. And over time, right, doing little things, you get pretty good at it. So,
and your lungs and your throat and your voice, we can hear it in your voice.
Yeah,
but
those initial inhalation injuries and then constant innovations and that sort of thing can create a lot of scar tissue in the throat. So I've had some surgeries to clean that up, try and get my voice to a more flexible, that sort of thing. But I'm doing so many surgeries, healing up. My kids were young, and I didn't want them growing up in hospitals. So I took some time off, and I thought, I'll come back, heal up for a while, and do some more surgeries. And that was almost 6 years ago. Operation Men's 12 now.
Amazing.
And to see that grow,
And you are you are literally the face of this program, right? And as you've improved and grown stronger, this program has improved and grown stronger and gone national.
Well, we've learned a lot. We realized very early on we couldn't just focus on the scars you could see and not acknowledge the ones you can't. And so the program ballooned into this all-encompassing care. And we include, caregivers, the support element for the Warriors when they come in, because we know how important that is. We can't bring them in, do what we need, and then send them home and have their support element unaware of what we're doing. So having all that communication has been invaluable. And, the element of the Operation Mend, that is, if the surgeries and clinical side, if that's the heart of what Operation Mend does, the soul is the Buddy Family program. When we go out for surgeries, they pair us with a family in the community. So when a family who volunteers to open their doors and have someone come in and just be there, be a phone call away if you need anything, or get you away from the hospital during some downtime, either take you out to dinner or take your kids to Disneyland or something to create a positive experience while you're there, and know that people care. And to give that opportunity to any community is only going to enrich all the people involved. So it's been powerful to see.
In some ways, it's kind of really perfect that it is right next to Hollywood, right? Because for the family and for the kids, it can be kind of a vacation. You can go to a Lakers game. You can go to the beach.
I'm so glad Dad's got surgery this week. Yeah.
Right? You can go to the beach, right? And you're in there getting cut up for the 70th time, and the kids are at the beach. But I mean it. Like, if you had to go to, a cold ass place in the Midwest or somewhere else that didn't have Disneyland down the street, it'd be a little bit trickier. And I think what I've seen too is that it's a very patriotic community. I think California sometimes gets a bad rap in politics, but Southern California in particular has more post 9/11 veterans than anywhere else in the country. From LA all the way down, especially in San Diego and South, tons of Marines, tons of retirees, tons of students. But Aaron, you've kept this incredibly positive attitude. I remember seeing you speak when you've literally had a hole in your throat.
Yeah.
Right? I've never seen, the shit that you've pulled off, right, is unbelievable. Like the way you're such an incredibly dedicated storyteller and a performer on some levels. Anybody who's been in front of a camera knows that there's an artistry to it and a performance to it. But your ability to pull it off, and make it look easy is spellbinding to me and so many others. But if anybody had a right to be angry, it would be you. This show is called Angry Americans. It's about, what makes folks angry, a lot of things that make everyone angry, but also about turning that righteous anger into something positive. And I don't know anybody who's done that better than you, but on a very basic level, we all get angry. So Aaron Mankin. It's
okay to be angry.
Yeah, Aaron Mankin, what makes you angry?
That's a good question. It's a great question, because I don't get angry often, or I don't spend a lot of time in the angry space. Try and either distract myself or move on to something else that's more positive. But it's been a journey to come home very early on in the war, when a nation was still very excited to care and be involved with warriors, or just military in general. A lot of momentum, right, in our community at that time, to come home and witness that, to board a plane and have some first class passenger, some citizen say, "No, you sit here. You sit here. I'll go." Right, just give their seats, or give any way they can. It's been incredible to see. What makes me angry is how that's waned. How we see, maybe the constant barrage. Now that we're in your face all the time. Now that we have a presence. Right, now that we've been lifted to here, and you see us more than maybe you did before, it's easier to kind of glance over. It's easier to look past, or ignore it. When the need is just as great as it's always been. And I get angry when we forget ourselves. We have these events. We got a day, so many days to remember. And again, some people, it's just routine, and they forget themselves, or they'll say thank you as an empty platitude and it stops there. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. It's no good. So empty platitudes make me angry. I'm tired of hearing thank you when it doesn't mean nothing, doesn't do nothing, doesn't help nobody. But we should be thankful. You should say thank you. Don't get me wrong. Say thank you, but it needs to be gratitude, right? Right, and that gratitude is action, right? Manifest, there's sacrifice that makes us grateful, right? That gratitude calls us all to serve, and in that service, regardless of where you find yourself, do something, right? If you don't fight there, if you don't go there, if you don't serve there, serve them. Serve those that do. But everyone should do something. That gratitude, right, makes us called to serve. And in that service, we're united. In that brings us together. That's our tribe, right? That's us being us, doing what we do. We forget where we came from and how we all got here, how our diversity is our strength, how each pluribus unum, from any one, right? So I just, because we have to, we can't, lest we forget, right? Lest we forget. And that's a warning. That's a warning of the things to come, of the doom of what we're trying to create if we forget. Lest we forget, who we are, where we came from, what we do best, why we're here, for when it matters most. And it matters most for the next time. There's always us. There's always a them, right? We've been creating veterans, service members, since the birth of our nation. This is not a new thing. For us to continually be struggling to provide for the men and women we call heroes is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I feel if more people were aware or took the initiative to educate themselves, go out, meet a warrior, shake their hand, say thank you, and ask them, would you survive? Right? Give them a chance to tell their story, right? Lest we forget.
Thank you, brother.
So,
thank you for sharing.
I'll keep trying to remind us, right? And I feel like part of that's the burden of being a survivor from the battlefield. You have to carry a different burden, right? I didn't leave that war. I didn't come home early and expect to be fighting a different war on the home front for years, storming Capitol Hill, slapping senators, trying to affect positive change in policy. I'll scream till my voice is gone. Right? You hear me now? Right?
And you have been heard, I think, but it's starting to echo. You and I have been in the White House together. We've met with some of the most powerful people of all parties in Washington. And there was a speech you gave when you accepted the IVA Veterans Leadership Award that had elements of this answer you just had, where everyone stopped. Everybody stopped. Folks who were just listening to that answer from you maybe pulled over their car, maybe put it on pause, maybe pulled the kids in the room and said, you got to hear this man speak. Because, Aaron, you take people to church. You do. You take them to church in a way that is so powerful. And we've been making veterans, from the beginning, but veterans have also been coming home and continuing to serve, and that often includes politics. So I want to ask you about your future aspirations. And again, I think too often people ask you what happened to you and not what you think. So I want to ask you, what do you think of the president? And what do you think of this state of affairs in America right now, far beyond veterans?
Yeah. Well, I grew up. I was always told that my parents were always told that I would he's going to be a preacher or a politician, and I'm humbled just to be a patriot. I don't want that job. I don't want to be a politician, and I don't feel called to serve in that way. As far as the commander in chief, even when I was in active duty and got sent to Iraq, part of that service, part of that servitude, part of being a servant, you give up a lot. You give up a lot of freedoms that you have. Because at that point, right, being in Fallujah, trying to debate policy or execution at that point was mute. So you kind of take yourself out of the picture and do your job, do your mission, get home.
But you're in it now, and I appreciate I am inviting you to say what you think, and I know you don't get a chance to do that. You may not want to. And I respect that if you don't want to get involved in the political debate. But I think you are a moral conscience for this country at a time where we have a commander-in-chief who is testing the moral fabric of this country. I think regardless of people's political background, they see that. And people are divided, and it does come down to leadership. Every time you walk in a room, Aaron, you set a positive tone, right? Which is what we need more of in government, and politics is getting nastier and I think infecting the tone across this country. If everybody woke up to a press conference from Aaron Mankin every day, America would be a better place, right? We wake up to a press conference with, Sarah Sanders and Donald Trump. It's a crapshoot, man, and half the country is going to be pissed. But like when you see him, what are your thoughts on him as a leader?
My opinion on the president is well, as a veteran, as a Marine, who's been in this community for so long and seen so much selflessness. It epitomizes who we are. To have anyone at any level of leadership continually make it about themselves does a great injustice to those who right now all around the world are making us proud. And they're not doing it for them. They're not doing it for him, right? And we have to remind ourselves, again, why we're here, right? And this grand experiment that we have. And this little blip on the radar, this little moment in history, right? Because I've seen it. I was there. How we are unified. How we can galvanize, right? I hate to think that it's going to take another tragedy. It's going to take something so terrible that we all suffer together. We all feel together and remember where we were and promise each other again not to forget. Again, not to forget, and bring us together and move forward. We've had good presidencies, we've had bad presidencies, but this community has continually looked out for each other, continually provided for each other. And I hear the static, I hear the noise, I hear the chatter over the airwaves, and all the attention he sucks out of the room because he demands it. Right? He needs that to continually feed his machine by design, right? It's all by design. It makes me angry that at a time of Veterans Day, that we're not talking about veterans issues. We're talking about the guy in the office, making it about him, and it's incredibly disappointing.
So you were at the Veterans Day parade here in New York, and he came. I chose not to go. I chose to boycott the event because I did not want to be politicized. You and I both know that at events like this, oftentimes a politician may grab you, you probably more than anybody, take a photo with you, and politicize you, use you.
Oh yeah, I've had people steal my picture offline and do it for this party or that party. You just get used,
And I did not want to do that, and so I chose a different route. I respect the folks that wanted to go. I respect the folks that didn't go. And that was my core issue is like, everybody says, he's a commander-in-chief, he could come. Well, would you want him at your daughter's wedding right now or your son's wedding? Because think about all the complications that would come with that. Think about all the people you have to explain it to. Think about the folks who just won't come. Think about the folks who'll be excited. But it will make the wedding about him instead of about the bride and groom. And that's what I felt like happened at the parade. But you were there. How did you feel about him coming to the parade?
Just that it was different. Again, just that anytime you have the president on deck, it changes, it's how things flow, how things work. Right? It certainly didn't make anything easier. Didn't make anything better for anyone that was there. But my experience when we got out of the subway, we got topside and started finding our way. You're walking through the streets of New York, and everywhere they want to say thank you. They want to show their appreciation. They want to give you your love. He had no impact on that whatsoever, right? People need to say that, and they did exactly that. So walking up Fifth Avenue like a boss with our Operation Event crew, right? Beautiful day, smiles on my kids' faces, right? Getting to experience that, getting to see people lining the streets, shaking their hand, welcoming people home. It was powerful. Powerful day. And they put us right in front of the Marine Corps band, right? And they're playing the Marine Corps band. They play our song. I mean, every block they start over. We got 5 Marines. We got to lock up. Wait. Stand at attention. Sing our song.
To be in front of Slash or somebody different. You've heard the Marine Corps band song probably than any other human being on the planet who's not in the Marine Corps band. Aaron, a lot of the folks who listen to this show don't have a political home. They are unaffiliated. They are independent. I've seen, especially in the veterans community, but nationwide, they are a growing force. Well, the fastest growing group that I see, people who don't want to be Republicans or Democrats or don't see a leader that they can run behind in Donald Trump or in Bernie Sanders.
Well, the whole two-party system's incredibly frustrating.
So you and I have talked about this offline, but how do you identify yourself politically?
Politically, I'm more of an independent. I having to put labels on this or that. Again, I'd rather see policy. I'd rather see the person, right, and judge their character, right. I remember we used to elect people based on character. Character counts, right. That's what makes a leader a good leader. The characteristics that they have, and a track record of executive decisions that proved successful, right? That had a longevity of success. I want that person to carry us into the future.
You are such a great guest to have because a lot of what the country is experiencing right now is pain. Been there. And I think there's an attraction to Joe Biden in particular for some because he can be a consoler in chief, because he's dealt with the loss of his children, because he understands about pain. Yeah. I think Obama was great about understanding and empathizing and communicating pain. George Bush was great about it at times, and Trump has consistently struggled with it. But you are you are an ambassador for helping people navigate pain in a very important way. It's such a noble and important thing that you do in sharing your story and talking about it. But in those moments, maybe someone on a very, not to dismiss it all, maybe someone's in a dentist chair. Maybe someone has to have a mastectomy. Maybe a mastectomy. Maybe they're going through childbirth. Maybe they're going through the loss of someone close to them. In those really deep moments of pain, how do you get through it? What do you do?
Well, I have the benefit of having some really good medications, and then I go, I'm fine. Pain-wise, right? Yeah. Pain is temporary. Yeah. Pain is temporary. But hurt,
for you, pain has been a constant. It's you have mental armor, right, to deal with the level of pain that you've endured. I don't know if I sat across a man who's endured as much pain as you have, physically and emotional, which is a part of it, and spiritual. Like sure. It's all hard. Sure. So when that pain comes, what do you think? What goes through your head? What's your plan?
Well, we talked earlier, scars are not forever, right? And that takes that ethos, that mentality takes courage. And courage is one of those, especially this time of year, a word gets thrown around. Courage is action again, right? You can be brave, but bravery in action is courage, and you cannot have courage without faith, without believing that this will turn out well. This is going to be okay, and having that vision for yourself. And only you can make that choice. Only you, and that's. I think sometimes people just don't know how much power they have. When I speak at schools, I teach our students about, this happened to me. In your life, bombs are going to go off. Something's going to happen. And your life's going to send you in a totally different direction. And you may feel helpless, and it's going to be hard, but But trust me, know this. You have more power. You're more powerful than you have yet to comprehend, because you can make that choice, and you're the only one that can.
Thank you. I'm just going to keep saying thank you, because at some point, it's just everything you do is a gift of knowledge and wisdom, and we have to be mindful of time and get you to a plane and get you home to your kids. But Aaron Mankin, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Well, my kids make me happy. Bringing up my kids, Madeline and Hunter, my girl Elise, her love and support, her boy Jackson, and my family, my support element, everyone I've got in my community. That's since day one, since 5/11, 2005, been praying for me, lifting me up, doing whatever they can to stay engaged. That makes me happy. Being in a room with PJ Clark's last night, surrounded by Operation Men, warriors, and seeing them grow in their recovery, and being around all these people that I've come to love and call my family. I had to sit there for a second and catch my breath. I'm really happy right now. And I love seeing people come together and doing something they didn't know they could do, or didn't know if they could pull it off, but they tried, and there was success, and we learned something, and we're all better for it. And just, there's so many examples all around the country, all these organizations, all these groups, putting years under their belts, and laser focusing their missions. And there's so much room for people to get engaged, to find whatever your niche is, whatever you like, whatever, pick it, right? If your thing's education, right? Scholarships, grants, keep these warriors at the top of their game. You can contribute to that. If it's health and sciences, if it's, completing someone's physical, I know a guy, right? Operation, I know a guy.
Yep.
If it's equine therapy, if it's, whatever it is, there's no excuse to not serve. Zero.
And you are a happy guy. And I my favorite part during Veterans Week, it's grueling. It's tiring. We're out there. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot.
This is the finish line right here.
And it's exhilarating, right? But there's something like at the end of it, when you're going for a walk, or you're at the bar, or you're having the phone calls afterward when we get home, it's kind of like the day after the game, right? Because the game goes by and it kicks your ass, and you kind of have to settle in and think about it afterward. But there is no more fun group of people to party with than the Operation Men crew,
Shoot.
right? And be around your crew, and it's a bunch of people who appreciate the shit out of life, right? Because every day is a gift. And I went to I've been blessed to go to a lot of places in the world. One place I went to was Israel at one point, and I was at a club late at night with a friend who took me there. And Tel Aviv was a great time. We had a great fucking time, and the parties were great, and the music was great, and people were happy, and it kind of surprised me. And my friend turned to me and said, "You know what? You'd party your ass off too if you thought you were going to die every day. If you thought a missile might land on your house." And there was a very basic element of that I've seen in conflict zones, and I've seen in war zones, but I've seen around people who've been through some shit. And I got to give a shout out to Octavio and to Joey Polk and so many others. You were the first, man. Like, in a very difficult thing, you were the first, like, bionic man. You were the first one to go through it, right? You've been through so many things, but the bravery and courage that you demonstrated around that was really important and inspiring. You also like football.
I do some football.
We talk about some football. You talk about some sports.
But it's
you got
talking about.
Please, you got any thoughts on the state of affairs in football right now?
Not generally, no.
I was
busy with other things, and I've been distracted. I'm a ham and cheese. I'm a Razorback fan,
yeah,
and a Green Bay Packer fan.
Yeah.
Ham and cheese, right? And
did you make that up? That's great. If you just made that up, that's great. Ham and cheese. As if you're in Arkansas.
Well, if the Hogs win on Saturday, and my Pack wins on Sunday, then Daddy gets some ham and cheese.
I love it.
It makes me happy.
I love it. I've never heard that before. Yeah. You should coin that. That's like a T-shirt, man. That's your vote. That's a very unique voting block for you. You can get together with Jake Wood from Wisconsin.
Love Jake.
And the two of you together would be a formidable duo on any playing field. But I do want to let you go. Anything else you want to share, man? Just floor is yours for a minute or two on anything that's on your mind. Not about that stuff, not about being wounded, anything that's going on in the world that you want to just talk about or share about or.
Free floor, right?
Yeah, man.
You talk about having a good time with the boys, in Operation Man, having a good time with that crew, and something to be said about that. People who I think have suffered a lot, been able to pick themselves back up, and have that perspective, and look forward to a good time. Because I don't know if it just means a little more, or it's just something a little richer about it, but tastes a little sweeter, knowing that you still can celebrate. You still got good reasons out there to slap a smile on your face. And things that just make you laugh, things that other people might see tragedy, and you find some humor or something. And I tell a story about my son Hunter when he was about 3 years old, and I'd come back from some operations in UCLA, and they had outfitted me with these prosthetic ears, beautiful ears, handcrafted, molded, hand painted, look good, right? Hollywood prosthetic stuff. So I'd glue those on in the morning, right? So I'm there in the morning, getting ready, going through my routine, putting my face on, right?
Literally.
And my son comes in and hugs my neck, tells me good morning. I turn around to finish what I'm doing. I notice my ears are gone. So now in my house, at the top of the stairs in my door, yelling at my 3-year-old, you bring your daddy's ears back here right now. Right? I know you heard me. You got 3 ears. I know you heard me. Get up here. And little things, man. Little things are huge sometimes, and having that perspective, or having somebody in your life give you a little perspective, is something I think that's or a value that we've let slide away from us. So if I can be a part of that, I've always said, even before BC, before the Corps, when I was young. In school, kind of asked early on, if you had $1 million, what would you do? Or if money was no option, what would you do? What would make you happy? And for me, I always thought, man, if I could travel and speak, I think I'd love that. And here I am with a story to tell, and that's my passion. That's my passion. So if I can keep doing that, if I can get out there, if preachers and politicians are making all the money, how much can a patriot make to show up and tell some stories and try and educate a little bit?
Well, your stories and your wisdom and your inspiration are a gift, and they're a gift to anyone who's listening right now, anyone who's heard you before, anyone will hear you in the future. This is an interview I think people will go back and listen to years from now. You are a conscience. You are a total fucking badass and a great inspiration. And I don't even know who's running for governor of Arkansas, but if you run, you're going to crush him or her. And speaking of gifts, before I let you go, we have the giving of the gifts.
What is this?
This is part of the show. You haven't listened enough, and I will.
It's not flammable,
you have to go back and listen to Willie Geist because he almost went to the. I'll hold your mic.
Am I doing this?
Yeah, hold on. He almost went to the Polish embassy by accident, which is a story that you can hear in episode 1. But first off, we got some swag for you.
Nice.
Some American made.
It's good quality too, people. He's not skimping on the t-shirts.
Made in America by Oscar Mike. You know those guys?
I do.
Yeah, Noah and those guys in the Chicago
they're
area.
great.
Oscar Mike, Angry Americans gear, so you can enjoy
Good
that.
crew.
And when you were having a Crown Vanilla and Sprite, I like how you just
peeps.
Now we got your peeps here. Now we got an interesting peep story. My wife says maybe I should stop doing the peeps question. Might be getting old, but it's always full of surprise. So here's the deal.
Tell her I said hello.
I will.
Give her my
She
love.
loves the hell out of
Give
you.
her my
man.
love. Say
She
something for
loves-
yourself.
I will. No. The peeps. Hold on. This is the thing.
Oh, okay.
So pull them out. You got. Usually we have yellow, blue, and pink, but someone stole our stash of yellow here at the car club, which is an issue for another time. Someone stole the yellow. So normally you get to choose. You're shoving them all on your chest, which is amazing. Aaron Mankin, if you had to choose a color, would you choose yellow, which is in absentia here, blue, or pink?
Like reaching for a peep on the table, which is the first one I grab.
Which, if you had to choose one of these?
I'll go with blue.
Why?
It's pretty.
There you go.
Makes me feel pretty. Yeah.
It's pretty and it makes you feel pretty.
Yeah.
You are pretty. I love it. I love it. I love it. And lastly, we got something special for you. Our friends at Fort Hamilton Whiskey.
Oh, wow.
Made in New York. Rye used to be made in New York. This just came out. And hold on a second. I'm going to tell you what it is. Hold this.
Gotcha.
This is their new double barrel rye whiskey. And it's pretty badass. This is a blend of straight rye whiskeys. They call it double barrel. It's pretty good, double barrel, because you're a double barrel badass. And this just came out from our friends at Fort Hamilton Whiskey, big supporters of this show and of military and veterans everywhere. And that's for you. You can enjoy it on the airplane or when someone steals your ears or anything else. But my brother, I love you. I'm so grateful for you. Every day I get out of bed, I feel like it's a better world because you're in it doing good stuff. And for folks listening, watch Aaron Mankin. He's just getting started. And for me, this transition has been fun because the gloves have kind of come off and now I can let my hands fly. And I know that that's starting to happen more with you. And this country needs you. This country loves you. But more important, it's fun to watch you rise, man. I'm grateful for your friendship and especially for being with me here today.
Thank you, Folly.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Aaron Mankin. Vote for him, support him, follow him, hire him to come to your school or town. You can find him on the Operation Men website. We'll post some photos of that as well so you can see his incredible transition. He's going to take a Ferrari to the airport and fly back down to Arkansas in time for the game. Ladies and gentlemen, the great and powerful Aaron Mankin live from the Classic Car Club Manhattan. Thanks for joining us. All right, so here's my question for you, Aaron Mankin. Look at this landscape of cars. Yeah. Which one would you pick?
Wow, is this like a psychological exam?
No, I'm just fucking, everybody has their own favorite. You want to know what my favorite is? Of all these cars? That Lincoln. I fucking love that. I love it, right? Because they're not all, some of them are just classics. Like this Stingray is amazing. You want to sit in it?
Yeah.
You want to? Yeah, you do. You want to sit in it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so we're going to cancel Aaron Mankin's flight, and he's going to drive back to Arkansas in this. Look at this one. That feels good, doesn't it? Wow. And it's kind of a midnight blue. It's not black. Oh, 63 Chevy Corvette Stingray. Amazing car. You look fucking good in that thing, man.
Yeah, it fits like a glove.
You look good in that thing, man. You look good in that thing. All right, we'll get you one. We'll send that in the mail with the bourbon. To build in a down day, to just come to my house and hang out.
I love that.
All right?
I love that.
All right, we got to make it happen.
Make plans.
I love you, brother.
I love you too.